For my historically significant civil engineer, I selected Thomas Telford. He was born on August 9, 1757 and passed away at the age of 77 on September 2, 1834. Today, we will analyze his large impact on society and the field of civil engineering by viewing his famous projects. While the majority of his work lies in Scotland and the UK, his work influenced America's engineering path as well. To begin, it is important to know what childhood past he arose from. Thomas was born into poverty as his father died soon after his birth and his mother worked as a shepherd. This forced Telford to work exhausting days as a stonemason at the age of 14. The opportunities in his hometown of Exdale, Scotland were limited, but his job as a stonemason gave him dreams of becoming a lead engineer one day. His struggles as a teenager drove his work ethic and drive to make it professionally as an engineer. This drive pushed him towards London in 1782 in search of new work opportunities. These pictures illustrate life conditions of the lower class in Scotland during the mid-1700s. They represent poor rural houses and communities and the exhausting living and working conditions Thomas endured. After his move to London, Telford met architect Sir William Chambers, who was impressed by his knowledge and work ethic. This relationship allowed him to take a managerial position at Portsmouth Dockyard, where he learned numerous aspects of civil engineering. His experience over 6 years gave him the adequate education to begin designing projects. Also, in 1790, he worked on the Shrewsbury Castle project, where famous architect William Pulteney, who also was a friend from his stonemason days, noticed his skill and appointed him to be Surveyor of Public Works for the county of Shropshire. Over the next few years, Telford continued to work under renowned civil engineers, learning before he became the lead engineer in projects. His unusual rise to success came from education through experience instead of higher education. This quote on the screen is by Sasha Azevedo, a famous artist, saying, "We can teach from experience, but we cannot teach experience." This quote reflects Telford's career path and I believe is very applicable to modern society's negative stigma around students going to trades versus higher education. Now that we know Telford's rise in the engineering field, we can assess his impact through his most famous works. His most acclaimed project was the Menai Bridge, whose great size can be seen in the picture below. This structure is one of the first modern suspension bridges and the largest of the time by far. Built in between 1819 and 1826, it included two carriageways and an amazing 2,000 tons of wrought iron of support. The bridge was the only way connecting Holyhead and Anglesey Island and was so economically important that British Parliament stepped in to aid Telford financially. Today, the bridge is still in use with the help of several updates replacing the aging structure. However, the structural design exploded in popularity globally, with some of the most famous bridges today having similar designs. For example, the Golden Gate Bridge and Brooklyn Bridge use Telford's design base. Overall, as the picture illustrates, this project is Telford's crowning achievement due to its structural strength, natural beauty, and impact on the civil engineering field. Telford also served as head engineer for a variety of projects giving him national fame. The Ellesmere Canals were one of his first major structures that gave him even greater opportunities after completion. These canals connected England and Wales, supporting an important part of the nation's economy. Despite several past failures, Telford finally completed the design by 1800, being the only head engineer to successfully balance the project. As a result, his career began to explode, gaining national fame. In addition, Telford helped build England's infrastructure by designing major roadways. His work dubbed him the name Colossus of Roads. As public surveyor and architect, he rebuilt sections of London's roadways and designed other regions. The String Road and Glasgow-Carlisle Road are the two most prominent roadways that he designed. His work connected different people and businesses using his creative, ahead-of-the-time visions. Overall, Telford's projects were on vast structures, making him one of the most diverse and experienced engineers of the time. Here we can see a couple of pictures of Telford's works after they were completed. The picture on the left is of the Ellesmere Canal. This section helps show the engineering mastery required to complete the project. The aqueduct allows boat traffic to cross formerly impassable regions. The picture on the right displays the length and usefulness the Glasgow-Carlisle Road had in the region. The country was no longer divided by natural barriers. His projects and engineering expertise had a large impact on the field of civil engineering. He was so influential that he was given the name "Godfather of Engineering." The introduction of new design concepts, like the suspension bridge, led to the continuous advancements in the field. Telford was known for his creative project visions, keeping him ahead of the time. In addition to his engineering contributions, he also formed the Institution of Civil Engineers in 1820, and served as the first president for 14 years until his death. The combination of all of his work made him a member of the Scottish Engineering Hall of Fame. Overall, he made a major impact on the future path of the field. In addition to his engineering impacts, Telford played a major part in the progression of mankind during his time. To start, he is responsible for connecting the UK in a way never done before. These new connections allowed for economic booms which accelerated trade and commerce. Similarly, social mobility increased with the ability to migrate across the country. His contributions actually helped create a period of economic prosperity full of new opportunities for all social classes. A college was founded in his name, the Edinburgh Telford College, to teach his visions to the next generation. The picture is the university in the modern day, equipped with all the new technologies and equipment to teach effectively. Now that we looked at his impact on society in his time, we can analyze his legacy into the future. A town within Shropshire was named Telford in honor of his contributions to the area. Furthermore, his work at the Ellesmere Canal became a World Heritage Site in 2011 due to its historical significance. The Institution of Civil Engineers has also stood the test of time, continuing to teach the attributes Telford left when he founded the program. Finally, we can still see his influence and greatness by witnessing the longevity of his work, which has stayed strong over 200 years. In conclusion, Thomas Telford was one of the great founders of modern civil engineering and acted as an engineering visionary ahead of his time. His influence on civil engineering is wide-scale and can still be seen today. We can remember his global impact as his work sparked economic growth and the continual progress of mankind.